Banff is one of the best places in Canada if you're looking for an adrenaline rush. Known as a go-to playground for adrenaline junkies and outdoor enthusiasts, Banff truly has something for everyone to enjoy. In the last episode of our Banff travel series, we'll be spending 48 hours doing some of the most extreme and most challenging adventures in Banff. From an intense climb on ice to see the horizon, I'm not sure if Max is actually gonna make it. It's a pretty steep way up. To exploring a cave as deep as a 15-story building under the mountains of Banff. It's a long way down.
Our day began by fueling up with some breakfast and driving down to Canmore to meet up with our group and pick up our ice climbing equipment.
So guys, we have officially started our tour. We're all equipped with our gear for ice climbing and we're just following our guide Sebastian to the trailhead. Oh, look at this view.
The sun is just rising. What a way to start the morning.
So we just got a small safety briefing of like all the hazards that can go wrong. These shoes aren't the best, aren't the most comfortable.
It's really stiff and snug.
We also seem to be the only people that has no experience ice climbing from our group.
How hard could it be?
Babe, I think I see the ice. I see the ice that we're climbing.
After a quick 20-minute walk in the Grassi Lakes Trail, tired already. We began our climb to this place called the Junkyard, which is a great ice climbing spot for beginners. There was a point in the climb where we had to put on our gears, which included harnesses, helmets, and ice climbing crampons. He looks too small for you.
I got a big head.
This was the point where we first thought, oh my god, are we really doing this?
Think about where you're stepping and you walk wide-legged. Okay, if you walk normally, I can guarantee you're gonna snag your pants, trip, and fall. You don't want to fall because you're holding knives in your hand, right? So you walk wide like a duck. Very small steps. Bend your knees a little bit.
Did you get all that?
Duck walk.
Ever get that thought sometimes where you say, we probably have this for a reason? That thought was quickly validated when we began to climb as the path to the ice wall was very steep.
Thinking a lot? Yeah. Let's just make some more unstable. Okay, take smaller steps and stand upright.
We wouldn't have made it up there without those crampons. So I think we just reached the main area that we're gonna ice climb. It's a pretty steep way up and me myself, I wasn't comfortable enough to do that. Good thing the guide was there. I'm not sure if Max is actually gonna make it. There is another area down there. Maybe she's gonna stay there for a while.
Thankfully, I was able to make it to the wall, but decided I'm in no condition to make the climb. If you guys are planning to do this ice climbing, make sure you have lots of layers. Right now, I'm wearing 6 layers and I still feel really cold. Good thing our guide Sebastian gave me hand warmers, so I put them inside my gloves to keep me warm. Anytime during the tour, if you feel like you can't do it or you feel scared like me, just tell your guide and he will put you on the side where it's safe and maybe string you up like myself. So I'm safely secured here on the side while they're doing their climb. The rope was mostly for safety, as one wrong move and I could end up with broken bones at the bottom of this hill. Nat decided to push forward with the climb.
With no background whatsoever in ice climbing, I decided to give it my all. The beginning was fine as I was able to follow along with Sebastian's guides, but as I continued to climb, I felt my leg muscles start to tighten and get tired. There I realized that as much as physical strength, you also need technique to conserve energy here.
After an hour and a half, we decided to retire and Sebastian guided us down the hill safely. It's so fun!
My respect to all the ice climbers have immensely grown after this activity. It's crazy! You would think that it would be easy because you're just pulling yourself up, but really you have like the factor of you're actually stepping on ice, you're climbing on ice. You have to have like your full body strength working for you and technique.
I'm like the baby of the group. I'm just sitting in a corner tied to a rope just in case I slip down on my own.
But I think I'm still pretty proud of you because you made it up there.
Just by the area where they ice climb.
Yeah, if we can't speak properly right now, it's because our faces are frozen. Still highly recommend doing an activity like this if you're in Banff during the winter time. So if you're not doing snowboarding or skiing or any of the other activities, you gotta try ice climbing at least once in your life. And definitely check out Alpine Air Adventures because they do tours like this almost every day. So you're in safe hands with them.
And thanks to Sebastian, our tour guide. It's really nice and he took care of me.
So after a very cold, icy, and snowy morning, Max and I thought that there has to be a way that we can warm our bodies up again. And thankfully, our hotel, Banff Caribou Lodge Spa, has a heated pool / jacuzzi that is conveniently located in the building. And that's what we just did.
And another cool thing about this hotel is they have a spa on site. It's called Red Earth Spa and they offer a variety of treatments.
So if you wanted to just relax, maybe have a stone massage, you can instantly do so. So for dinner, we wanted to go with one of the most popular restaurants here in Banff. This is called the Grizzly House Steak and Fondue. And if you guys remember, Max and I didn't really do a good job on our first fondue experience.
I can see it. Where did it go?
So we're gonna try to do our best tonight.
So we noticed that there's a phone line on every table. So we asked our server, why is that? So it turns out that this was previously a disco place. And when the disco era died, the owner still wanted the people to mingle. So he decided to put phone lines on each table. And if you look at the back of the map, there's an outline of all the different tables that you can phone in.
So aside from being famous for their fondue and steaks, I find it amusing that this restaurant is also themed all throughout, from the outside to the inside.
And on that day when the train rolls in and St. Peter opens wide the door, he will take my coat singing welcome son, my dirty shoes will stain heaven's floor. Just a few more steps.
Good morning guys! Welcome to our final day here in Banff. Although it's our last day, we still have a couple of activities planned for today.
But before anything, we did a quick coffee run at the lobby of our hotel. And sadly, for one of the adventures today, Max is gonna stay behind because she feels a little bit exhausted. But that's okay because we're gonna meet up after that and we're gonna do more fun things together.
Oh, you pushed him a lot closer.
Bye! Take care! Bye!
Bye! See you later!
Take care, okay? Be safe!
Alright you guys, this is gonna be my first solo adventure without Max for a while. It's kinda strange, to be honest, but let's go do this. So the cave tours isn't exactly in Banff. That's why I'm driving about 20 minutes down to Canmore to meet up with my group. And then I think we're gonna go a certain trail down to the cave. Hey, how's it going? Good.
Here for the 11 o'clock Explorer Tour. So I'm Brent, I'm going to be the guide today. Hurry up and wait game for them.
Okay.
But feel free to come on in now. What we're doing today is we're exploring inside this side of the cave, kind of within this box. I know that doesn't look big in comparison to the rest of the map. You could comfortably spend about, if you were to try to explore every single passageway we're looking at, that's like 4 or 5 days of cave exploring. So a bit longer than the 2 hours we want to spend underground. So one of the coolest parts about, I guess, the cave system in general is there is no walkways, there's no lights, there's no railings down there. So it very much is climbing through the cave, crawling through the cave, butt scooching a lot of the cave, using ropes to climb down through sections, just being in a fully natural cave system.
After a brief overview of the cave and picking up our equipment, we started heading to the trailhead. So I think we finally made it to the base of the trail. We're about to hike up for about half an hour, I think, because the cave just isn't exactly right by the highway. So we're starting to climb at 11:30. Maybe it takes about half an hour to get up there. So far, it's been a steady climb for about 5 to 10 minutes. And also the gasping just shows that how out of shape I am.
So Nat is currently doing the cave tours right now. I hope he's having a blast. Right now, I'm planning to enjoy the hotel's indoor pool, crossing my fingers it's not too busy today.
Stopped by a small viewpoint because we saw a small herd of mountain sheep. Max is definitely missing out on this. I'm starting to feel a little bit of an exhaustion coming from ice climbing yesterday, where you use a lot of your core leg muscles. Booking a backpack activity like this might not be a good idea. Brett, our guide, has asked us to put on our helmets. I think we're entering more of like a little bit hazardous areas now, and we're getting closer to the cave entrance.
So that is the entranceway we'll be climbing into there.
Alright, I think that was about a 40 minute hike up, eh?
Yeah, 30, 40. Yeah.
As we reached the entrance of Rat's Nest Cave, Brent showed us how to use our gear, and then we began our journey. It's crazy when first looking at the cave, it's just this tiny little opening in between these big boulders. With no handrails and with just a rope, I tried to pull myself up with the thought, what have I gotten myself into?
And we're just clipping both carabiners onto this cable here. Over there. There we are. Yeah. So cool. Want the luxuries of throwing some ice down.
Let's do it.
So you
right
have to
here?
listen for a bit longer than you think. But yeah, whenever you're ready.
It's a long way down. With no experience in caving, I've decided to take their Explorer Tour, which is essentially their shortest for beginners tour. They say it's about a 4.5-hour tour with being underground for 2 hours. Again, this adventure, like ice climbing, has instantly blown my expectations away. But a good thing that our guide Brent kept us entertained as he talked about the geological history of this place, which put our mind away from the thought that we have been descending into the heart of this enormous cave system.
But yeah, as you can see around me, it's not horizontal yet.
I know now for sure that why some of the coverings have holes in it.
Yeah, exactly. It happens down here. Yeah. It's a fully natural. We've tried to not make this easier per se.
Okay.
We just want to make it as safe as possible. So having ropes to be used, but not having things like walkways going through here.
The smallest area that we had to fit in was called the box. It's this man-made wooden pathway that also works as a roof.
Right here at the entranceway, it actually looks quite a bit smaller. Most of it's actually covered with wood, and it's because this is such a funnel point. We just want the entrance to be as small as possible so that it doesn't continually funnel rocks on top of us while we're in there.
Oh yeah, we can fit in there.
See why this wooden roof is here, hey? All these rocks on top of it? Yeah.
It's a good thing that they have this wooden surface right here, so all these rocks doesn't fall under there, and we still have a pathway. The tour was also full of fun and challenges where Brent gave us the choice of taking the easy way or the more challenging way.
And then we're gonna do the really cool gangster roll off to the side, maybe some finger guns at the end, just to show how impressive.
So thankful for this helmet.
It comes in handy down here.
The hardest part about this is getting it in camera. But I'd say the greatest highlight of this entire tour was this place called the Grotto. It's this beautiful room at the lowest point in the tour, where the walls are covered with stalactites and stalagmites. The water that runs through the grotto was crystal clear to a point that you can't see the bottom of the pool. The way back up was fun and challenging as you navigate and pull yourself up through the rocks. The hardest thing I'd say is we were wearing a face mask this whole time, which makes it a bit hard to breathe. But the more I think about it, it actually helps a bit because it prevents you from inhaling all of the dust in the cave. And before we know it, we were already back at the entrance gate.
Good afternoon, Grotto Spa. Louise speaking.
Hi, I'm wondering if I could book a foot massage.
For today?
Yeah, for today.
And yeah, I think that's everything. We can see you at around 2:30.
Okay, see you. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Finally made it up to the entrance again of the cave. Wow, that was such an adventure just going up here.
So, just be careful there with that gate opening, it's just pretty big and heavy.
Sunlight!
Just finished my foot massage. It's so good. Totally recommend it.
I would totally recommend doing one of these things if you guys are around here, because you kind of get a different perspective of how it is here in Banff. Because if you're like just a normal traveler, you would just be sticking around just the town Banff area. And not to say that it's bad, but I would highly recommend you to try to explore the outback and somewhere in the wilderness, or try something like this. It's definitely a different experience for me. One of the first. Can't say that Max is gonna enjoy this if she were to come here, because we did a lot of extreme stuff. But it was nice doing that adventure for you guys and for myself as well. And we're now just making our way back to the parking lot, and I'm driving back to Max. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, nice meeting you guys. Nice meeting you.
Bye.
See ya. Hello.
We were so excited to tell each other about our day, but had to postpone it as we were rushing to catch one more attraction in Banff before it closes for the day, the Cave and Basin National Historic Site. So it turns out that this place has a lot of history. We don't know the full history, but the overview is there are 3 railway men who discovered the cave back in the day. So they went to John MacDonald because they wanted to make a profit out of it, but John MacDonald said no, because we're going to make it the first national park in Canada. And now we have Banff.
It's also crazy that this whole area used to be a big hot spring pool, but they closed back in the day because of the high bacteria count. They started being protected with the basin because of what they found of the endangered snails living in the basin.
It's also interesting to know that during 1920s to 1930s, this was a hot spot for socializing. There are lots of teenagers who come here to the hot spring of Banff just to socialize.
Is this you guys first time here at the Cave and Basin?
Yes.
It is.
Alright, so yeah, you can just place your feet on each side, on top,
Oh, on it?
and just push it as hard as you can.
Oh no. I didn't even reach far.
Yeah, we'll go one more.
It's so
Is it heavy?
No, it's just my shoes. It's slippery.
Oh, there you go. Different world.
Oh, it's hard aiming.
Oh, you pushed them a lot closer.
We feel really exhausted after spending 48 hours doing some of the most extreme adventures in Banff. But we wouldn't have it any other way. Our bodies may be tired, but our hearts feel alive that we've traveled to this amazing place and tried the best food and activities it has to offer. Spending a week-long trip here in Banff has been a blessing, and we had such a blast exploring all of its wonders. We're so happy we still pushed through with our plans, even if it was cancelled a few times in the last couple of years. And we will say the wait was truly worth it.